This is episode 88 of the Battle of Ohio podcast. This one's actually episode 88, by the way. I said the wrong number on the last podcast. But anyway, the Bengals came through this week with a must-win game against the Denver Broncos to take control of the AFC North. The Browns, I felt they fought valiantly, considering the circumstances, to be the ones to take that mantle away against the Raiders on Monday afternoon football. But I think their lack of personnel, was probably too much for them to overcome. And so, as a result, the Bengals are on top in the AFC North, and that Week 18 game is looking to be an interesting one. But you know who I don't see being still in it in Week 18, Thomas? Pittsburgh. Because why?
Because they suck. They suck.
Yeah, right.
And we played them in 2 weeks. We're going to smoke them in 2 weeks. I can't wait.
They needed 6 billion turnovers against the Titans to beat a Titans team that doesn't have Derrick Henry.
Welcome to the Battle of Ohio podcast, where we follow the revival of the historic rivalry between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns.
But we will get to that later, though. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about the Bengals game first, because honestly, I think the Browns game is probably more interesting. So let's start with the Bengals game. 15-10. That was the final score of this one, Thomas. A lot of people were coming on my stream because it was an away game, so I was live streaming the game, and a lot of people were calling this one a snooze fest. They were like, "Oh, this game's so boring," etc., etc. And I get it. I thought it was fine though. Like, I said this on a few different mediums, but I mean, I like defensive games. And I felt the fact that the Bengals showed that they can win in a way that they don't have to score 30 points in a game to win. Like, they can win no matter what way that they need to win. I think that was important. And being able to shut down the Broncos' running offense, that was huge. I mean, I know the Broncos' offense isn't like massive or anything like that, but that running offense is really good. The fact that we shut them down, I think, shows a lot of good things.
Okay. I mean, the Broncos aren't a scrub team.
Especially not on defense.
Yeah, I mean they're not a bad team at all. But I will say that them having their quarterback out, that kind of helped.
Well, sort of. Here's the thing, when Teddy Bridgewater, we were playing against and beating Teddy Bridgewater. So
yeah,
I don't think it should be.
I'm not gonna take anything from y'all. I ain't gonna take anything away from y'all win. I'm sorry. I don't mean to take anything away from y'all win. It was a good win by the Bengals.
Well, it was what was important to me. Honestly, whatever quarterback was behind center didn't really make that much of a difference to me. Because to me, what really defined this win is the fact that the Bengals out-defensed one of the best defenses in the NFL. The thing about, like when Teddy Bridgewater went out and Drew Lock went in, that's actually when the Broncos scored their first touchdown, because the Bengals weren't prepared for Drew Lock, and as erratic and crazy as Drew Lock is, I think he is more talented than Teddy Bridgewater. So that's what happened. Drew Lock came in, and he was a little bit better at throwing the ball, and the Bengals had to adjust to that. And they did adjust to it, but it took them a drive to do so, and the Broncos got their touchdown as a result. And at the time, I'm sitting here, kind of panicking. I'm like, oh my God, our offense can't get anything done. Are we gonna, like the Broncos got a touchdown? Are we gonna be able to come back from this? And then like 3 plays later, Tyler Boyd, 44 yards. Beautiful. You love to see it.
Yeah, it's great to have all your players in the game.
You know what I'm really, really annoyed about, though, Thomas? There are a subset of Bengals fans out there. We're just people who are covering the team. I'm looking at you, Paul Dehner Jr. But there's people out there who are criticizing Zach Taylor for running the ball at the end of the game. And it's like, okay, I get that's what got us in trouble against San Francisco. I get that was a decision people didn't like, because they're like, why are you taking the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands at the end of a game? And et cetera, et cetera. But guys, my God, there's this thing called situational awareness. I'm glad that Zach Taylor did not think, running the ball didn't work against San Francisco, so we shouldn't do that at the end of the game here. Like, no, the Broncos had no timeouts left. You had like 2 minutes. You were past the 2-minute warning. What on earth makes you think that running the ball and trying to run some of that clock down so the Broncos with Drew Lock, the most volatile quarterback who Khalid Kareem, by the way, just like yoinked the ball away from on the last drive, not the last drive, but like, fairly recently on the last drive that the Broncos had that was any good. How are you taking that and you're trying to say, like, the Bengals should be throwing the ball? Like, no, that damn well should not be throwing the ball. They have no timeouts. They're only going to have a minute left when they get the ball back. You think they can go 75 yards in, like, less than a minute? This isn't Aaron Rodgers. This is Drew Lock. And the Bengals defense has been playing great all game. It's not like against San Francisco where it's like, the defense had kind of, like, been middling, but, stopping them when it mattered. But, so you still got George Kittle on the other side, and can you really hold him down? But you didn't have that. It was the fucking Broncos. Like, Alfred Ogbuegadon is not going to go get, like, a 50-yard catch. It's just not going to happen.
Somehow, Las Vegas did it to us. I hope we have somebody.
Yeah, but that's different though. You got Derek Carr on the other side, and Derek Carr is a pretty good quarterback. Like we're talking about like Drew Lock here, who's like he's got arm talent, but he's also like has no situational awareness. It's not like some of these fucking Bengals fans who think that we should be passing the ball instead of running the ball in a situation where it makes sense. And like I said, I commend Zach Taylor for the fact that he, like he said after that San Francisco game, he's like, yeah, I made a really stupid mistake. We probably should have been, he admitted, and he was like, yeah, that was my bad, et cetera, et cetera. I'm really proud of him for being able to distinguish between the situation that happened in that game and the situation that happened in this game, and not like basically overcorrecting and being like, hey, like, look, it's near the end of the game. We should just automatically be throwing. No, because of the circumstances, running the ball made perfect sense. And also, by the way, I don't know if Bengals fans know this, but we won the damn game. What are you complaining about?
Dude, Kyle, we already went over this. Fans are stupid, dude. Like, sometimes I believe that some people just love to be miserable. That's why, like, that whole term, we won, but it felt like a loss. A term that Browns fans said about 7 times this year, and the stupidest thing.
I don't know if anybody said this one felt like a loss, but there was way too much criticism about this.
Exactly.
And I'm just like, it was a very well won game. I mean, it was a defensive game. It was kind of I don't know. I saw somebody say like,
7-6 team though. Like
I saw people. Well, that's the thing. I saw people calling it an ugly win, but it wasn't an ugly win. It was a defensive win. It was maybe ugly from like a ratings perspective. Like I watched Brandon Perna from That's Good Sports. I watched his live stream of the game, and the whole time he's complaining. He's like, oh my god, these teams both look bad, and and this gotta be such a boring game to watch. Like, I agree with half of that. I can see it being a boring game to watch. I like watching games like that, but I'm weird. Yeah, people Brandon Perna was saying like, both teams look really bad. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, neither offense looks particularly great. Although I would argue that the Bengals offense got things done when they needed to get them done against one of the best defenses in the NFL, guys. Like, Joe Burrow didn't turn the ball over. No, the Bengals in general didn't turn the ball over. Trent Taylor was back there returning punts, and he did a damn good job of it. So, I mean, like, I know... Right, he didn't muff it. I know it wasn't like this, like the sexiest win or anything like that. I know you didn't have like Jamar Chase making like, amazing 100-yard catches or whatever. I know you didn't have like, like Tyler Boyd had a pretty good game. But I mean, that's the thing. Sometimes you're going to need to win this way. And at the end of the day, when you get into the playoffs, there's going to be a lot of different really good teams who are all good at doing really different things. So if you can prove that you can win in a lot of different ways, that's huge. So it's like, I reject completely. I maybe agree that it was kind of an ugly win from like a visual perspective. Like it wasn't like unless you're weird like me, it wasn't exactly the most fun game of all time to watch. But then again, I'm also maybe a little biased because my team won, so maybe that's part of why I had fun. But at the end of the day, it was a fine win.
Yep.
Take the dub. We're in first place now. Get over yourselves. It was a fine way to win. Sometimes you're going to have to win that way, and I'm glad they show they can do that. Because the Bengals have had a really bad issue of not winning close defensive games this year. So they just proved they could do that against a winning team.
I always don't like the term ugly win either, because a win is a win.
That most wins are not ugly. It is. You can't have an ugly win. I think if you kind of like escape at the end, but because you like threw a bunch of like interceptions or like you muffed the ball, like if we had beat San Francisco, I think that count as an ugly win. But I don't think that winning because your defense played well. I don't think that counts as an ugly win.
Yeah, I mean, like you're right. I mean, I get what you mean by ugly win. I mean, like the Steelers, they win ugly every week. That's literally how they operate. They literally operate by winning ugly wins. They ugly up the game. They win ugly.
And that's the thing. Like like their whole they had an ugly 11-0 start last year, and then they lost all the rest of their games. And so I mean, like that an ugly win to me is when you win, but what you put out there means that you probably should have lost and makes you feel like you're probably going to lose next week. Well, the way the Bengals play doesn't make me feel like they're going to lose next week. It makes me feel like, hey, we've got a really good defense here despite the fact that our linebackers are injured as shit and back. We're going up against the Ravens, and if our defense can play the way they did against the Broncos, and I mean, we only allowed the Ravens 17 points last time, and that was largely because the game kind of got out of hand and we just kind of like. Like if they had played that way the whole game, I know that first half was kind of weird, but if they had played that way the whole game, the Ravens would have not scored a single point. So the defense playing really well, that's what I like to see. And then the Ravens defense, nowhere near where the Broncos defense is, and a lot of that's because of injuries and stuff like that. But point being, that game, like an ugly win to me is a win where, like, yeah, we won, but I just don't feel great about our chances next week based on what I saw. But I feel fine about our chances next week. I feel like, if we take that and we do that against the Ravens, we're going to be fine.
I think I'll smoke the Ravens next week.
I sure hope so. I'm pissed off because I made vacation plans for this coming week, and my dad having season tickets and everything like that. So it feels like all possible games to go to this year, that would have been the one. But,
it's home?
Yeah, it's in Cincinnati.
Maybe I could take your ticket, man. I sit next to your father. I root for the Bengals proudly. Because y'all be helping us out. Because we still play y'all. We still play y'all. We can beat y'all. We don't play the Ravens anymore, so we can't make the Ravens worse. We can't hurt the Ravens hopes, but we still play you on the Steelers. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying on Twitter. Like these Steelers and Bengals fans who are laughing at us. I know you weren't one of the people, but there are some Bengals that are like, oh, Cleveland's still Cleveland. Like, all right, keep on laugh at us that we lost on the field goal with 18 players out. Okay.
Well, okay. I'm not gonna lie, Thomas. I when I was watching the game, I did start laughing a little bit. But that was just because it was more like a relieved laugh. Like, oh my god, we're gonna be in first place. I thought the Browns were gonna fucking pull that off. That was the kind of laughing I was doing.
They almost did pull it off with half their team missing, no linebackers.
Yeah, and that is a good transition into the Browns. So I mean, dude, we need to talk about what happened here. I texted you after the game, and I'm like, man, that's got to be a painful way to lose. But
we lost, but it felt like a win.
Well, I don't know about that, but y'all came back despite how many? What was it, like 10 guys on COVID, including both of the quarterbacks who've been on the roster this year.
I think a little more than that, actually. I think it was
right.
I think it got up into the 20s, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't it go up into the 20s?
Despite all of that, and your head coach, which actually I'm not entirely sure how much the head coach being out matters because y'all won without him last year.
Yeah.
But despite all of that, the Browns still, and going down 10-0, they were down 10-0 at halftime. And probably could have been like more than that if the Raiders didn't screw it up. Probably could have. I felt like it could have been 17-0 at halftime. But regardless of all of that, the Browns still came back and almost won. They almost made it a game. And I saw you had that. You sent that tweet out, Thomas, because you took a video of you like chanting "Chubb, Chubb, Chubb." Then he got in the end zone, and then and then the referees called it back because of a holding, which was a correct holding call. But I will say, Thomas, y'all still got in the end zone on that drive, so
I know
it's not like a completely busted thing.
No, it's busted because I had the Chubb sign in the end zone. He scored in my end zone, and it was a great moment. It was probably one of the best moments of my life, and that referee took it away from me. Fuck you, ref. So fucking bad about that.
Yeah, but honestly, like Thomas, like again, and I'm not saying that any of these calls were bad calls by any means. But the refs almost tried to give that game to you.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, they didn't call the holding call. With that, Myles Garrett did get held on that last throw by Derek Carr by 2 people.
Well, that is quite possible, but the Browns got quite a few penalty breaks during that.
I'm not blaming the refs on this game. I'm not blaming the refs on this game. I'm blaming it. If anybody I'm blaming is the Browns, but I am mad at the NFL honestly for having that game at 5:00.
No, I feel that. I feel that.
I don't understand what make y'all think that the average man can just go to a football game at 5:00 on a Monday, like on short notice. Like maybe if I had a couple of days to prepare for it. No, you give me 3 days to figure out how to get down to the stadium at 5:00, knowing damn well that most people work. How the hell am I going to pay for a ticket if I can't work? I didn't buy my ticket illegally. I didn't do anything. I didn't gamble on my ticket, but I lost money on a ticket because I couldn't sell it because nobody could go to a game. Even though I was 22 rows from the field, I couldn't sell my ticket.
Yeah, I feel like
give it away.
I feel like if the NFL is going to do that, they should offer like you have the option of getting your money back.
Nah, I'm not getting nothing back. Literally,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The NFL should do.
Ticket. People literally, I think it was the smallest crowd of the year for the Browns. People couldn't even give away their tickets yesterday because like people all across the city, people were trying to. Everybody and their mamas had tickets to the game yesterday. And nobody go like, oh, no, I gotta work. Oh, like, why would you schedule the game at 5:00? And I had somebody who was going to the game that's like, ooh, dude, 5:00, dude, that's too early, man. I got stuff to do. Like, it's why would you schedule a game at 5:00? Because like that, like I said, it made it impossible for me to resell my ticket. It made it really impossible for me to resell my ticket. I get it. I get because like. I get that you moved it for Saturday. Fine, I get that. But if you're going to move it, at least put it at 7:00. At least 7:00. Give me 7:00. But 5, dude? 5? Come on, Roger Goodell. That's some BS, man. You don't punish your fans. You do not punish your fans. You do not punish the people who pay money to see your product. You don't do that. That's messed up, man. And it's just so frustrating. I'm just very livid about that.
Well, and part of my thought process is it seems like because tonight we're recording this on Tuesday night. Like normally we record the podcast on Monday, but because of the whole situation, we're recording on Tuesday. So tonight there are 2 games going on, both at 7:00. So I mean I sort of understand that you got that contract with ESPN for Monday Night Football, and you don't, and ESPN probably doesn't want Monday Night Football to be competed with, but it does. You're right. It seems to me like the NFL should at least have some sort of like like emergency plan there. Like if they do have to move it to a Monday game and they can't and they can't put it at the same time as Monday Night Football because of exclusivity contracts with ESPN and everything like that. At the very least, I feel like they should have some sort of policy where the teams offer refunds on tickets for people who can't go in a situation like that. Like I know games get flexed, but you get like 2 weeks notice when that happens.
At least.
Right.
Man,
right. This really just was dropped on people out of nowhere.
Honestly, I really just they just never moved back the game for real. Because like if they never moved back the game, we could have just been Saturday. Could have just enjoyed Saturday football in the city. That would have been fun. If we would have lost, we would have lost. It would have been like I really wish they just had a game on Saturday.
Yeah, but we all know that Baker Mayfield bullied Roger Goodell into moving the game back, which ultimately, by the way, didn't even help Baker Mayfield.
I mean, like we got a couple players back. Like we got Wyatt Teller back, and we got John Johnson back. That was big. But on the low, like I think that it would have been better if we played on Saturday anyway, because the weather was horrible on Saturday. and that even out the playing field more when weather's bad.
Yeah.
But getting into the game though, Nick Chubb had a good game, but like even still, like you already think about it, like Nick Chubb had 94 yards on a depleted offensive line. Offensive line is currently dead from COVID, apparently. So like the whole thing is that Nick Chubb had a depleted offensive line. Couldn't get those last 3 yards. Those last 3 yards were big, man. You gotta get those 3 yards. You gotta get those 3 yards. Those last 3 yards, you get those 3 yards, the last possession, then you don't have to worry about punting the ball over to the Raiders. Fine. Then get those 3 yards. You punt it. The defense had many opportunities to end the game there. I know that you guys are down all those players and all that stuff and all the excuses in the book, but you got the game right there. Go out and win it, man. Go out and win the game. Get one more stop. Do something. Like, be champions.
I guess here's my thing. Like, how do you in that situation? It kind of reminded me of the Bengals' most recent playoff game, where they let the Steelers drive down the field, like despite the fact that they had a really good defensive game against the Steelers that whole game, and it's like the Browns, the Raiders have to start at the 29-yard line, and they got to get pretty far down the field to even be able to get into field goal range. You only got a minute 50 left. And I don't know, man. Like, it feels like the Browns defense really, like, despite having a pretty good game, it feels like at the end you can almost kind of put the onus on them and be like, the reason the Browns lost is because the defense just like didn't step up when it mattered.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, and that's the whole point about it. The defense did not step up when it mattered. The defense didn't do what they needed to do. I get you on the game of 16 points, but the offense did what they needed to do. But no, they didn't. They didn't. And that kicker, he had to go. Bob McLaughlin.
Yeah, you don't like McLaughlin anymore?
I never liked him. Nah, he's all right.
Well, he liked him at the in preseason.
I'm not. I mean, he's doing what I expect him to do. He missed a couple field goals. Who cares? I mean, like,
right.
No matter who you bring in, they're gonna miss field goals like that. So it's not like you're gonna replace him, get anything better.
Austin Seibert wouldn't have if you traded
not at
for
this
him.
point. But I mean, like, look, man. Look, here's the biggest positive that I have from this game. Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, two players who have been battering injury all year, get another week bye.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope y'all rested up. We're gonna need y'all again. We're gonna need y'all against the Packers. We're still in this thing. And y'all very much in this still. It's not like oh, we need like 10 teams to lose for us to be in it. No, like all y'all need is the Ravens to lose once, so y'all control your own destiny.
Well, and the Ravens are gonna lose. They got the they got the Rams coming up, and they got us next week.
They're not going to be. Like I said, I don't want to see the Ravens win another game on the schedule, but so they're gonna lose to y'all. So so the Ravens are chalk anyway. So I don't. They gotta be the Packers though. Like that's the whole thing.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. Think about it this way, like. The Bengals, I doubt the Bengals beat the Chiefs. So, most likely, the way I see it, the Bengals are going to beat the Ravens. And then, I don't see the Ravens beating the Rams either. So, then if as long as the Browns beat the Steelers, now if you beat the Packers, then, fan-fucking-tastic, whatever. But if you beat, the way I see it, the Browns got to beat the Steelers. If the Browns beat the Steelers, then that Week 18 game between the Bengals and the Browns, as long as the Bengals beat the Ravens, and that Week 18 game is going to come down to Bengals-Browns in the rematch up in Cleveland, and that is going to be a very, very consequential game that will probably determine the outcome of both of these two team seasons, idea that it very well might be whoever wins the division, whoever loses misses the playoffs.
I'll tell you what, if the Browns and the Bengals both win this weekend, they will flex that game. So
I don't know if they'd have to do it quickly because they have to give 2 weeks notice on flexing.
Yeah, but they'll definitely they have to flex that game, right? That,
I mean, you would think so.
Like if they
I
both,
hope they do too. You want to
like
talk about like
yeah, so if they both win, the NFL will have to flex that game.
Mm-hmm.
I would pull that trigger so quickly.
Right.
But I mean,
that'd be probably like that might be the game of the year, honestly, in the entire NFL, except for like any playoff games in the Super Bowl. But honestly, that essentially becomes a playoff game. It becomes like a like a pre-playoff like in the NCAA like basketball tournament where they have like they have the normal bracket, but then they also have like some
conference
like play-in games.
Yeah.
They have those play-in games. Yeah. So that it would essentially be a play-in game.
I got you. Yeah, it would be essentially. It would be essentially. By the way, I'm watching these highlights of freaking Arizona versus the Lions. Holy crap, Lions!
Yeah, that's insane. Lions. Not only beat the Cardinals, but like beat the shit out of the Cardinals, and then manage like beat them so badly that they had time to like take their foot off the gas and still win pretty decisively.
Man, Tyler Boyd had 96 yards. Wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he had an incredible game. Like I said, part of it was like he had that 44-yard touchdown immediately after Drew Lock drove the Broncos down the field and got the Broncos' first touchdown of the game. Like 3 plays after that, Tyler Boyd 44 yards, and it really put a statement on the fact that it's like the Bengals are basically saying, no, it's our day. You don't get to do that.
All right, I know I'm making my underrated player of the week.
And we will get to that immediately next, but I want to shout out one more thing, and that is Evan motherfucking McPherson, who hit at one point in the game a 58-yard field goal, which goes down as the longest field goal in Bengals franchise history, unseating the previous holder of the record, which was Randy Bullock. Thank fucking God he's no longer in the record books.
You sure have a curse or omen? That actually
Evan McPherson's the truth.
Before we get into underrated player of the week, I do want to say one more thing about the Browns. I don't think that this is all doom and gloom yet. That one did his thing, but I will say I wonder if watching that game on the couch for Baker Mayfield open his eyes to something else, because like there is a difference between being there and watching it on TV. And I'll tell you, like I'm gonna be honest with you, I hate losses on TV than I do. I hate watching a loss on television more than I do on in person, because like when I'm in the stadium and like a loss happened, I'm around people, and then like people, we all just have our human thoughts, right? But like when you're on TV and you're watching it on TV, you gotta hear the announcer's opinion, and you just can't say anything. You just gotta sit there and let them talk about and just let it marinate, and then just hear all the things. And like there ain't nothing, there's not a right thing an announcer can say after a loss about your team. Yeah. So if you're Baker Mayfield and you're just sitting there watching that game on the couch, just like hearing them say what they're gonna say, and Kevin Stefanski, I hope that stung. I hope that hurt you. I hope that hurt you the most in the world. I hope you felt some kind of way. You better use that passion on Saturday and beat the Packers. That's all I got.
Well, we will see what Baker Mayfield does next. But let's go ahead and move on to the underrated players of the week, Thomas. So I'll go ahead and let you start out with who you think was the Bengals underrated player this week.
I was actually, it's funny because you, I was thinking when I said I had my underrated player, Evan McPherson was who I was going to pick actually. Not only did he hit that 58-yard field goal to win the game, not to win the game, but to break that record, he also had 2 other field goals. And a defensive battle. The weather is not always nice in Denver, so it's a city. I mean, although it is mile high, it's still a city where it's hard to kick field goals because of weather and inclement weather conditions and the cold. It's hard to kick field goals in cold, dude. It's hard to kick field goals. You go outside and hit a field goal, a 50-yard field goal in the cold.
No, yeah, but Mile High Stadium is known as the place where it's the easiest to hit long field goals.
Yeah, because of
the air pressure.
Yeah, well, air pressure. When it's cold outside, he kicked He kicked 3 field goals. He kicked 3. And the whole point is, you're right. You're right about the air pressure, and like that. You're right. You know, if people be hitting 60-yard field goals a mile high. The whole point is, he's 3 for 3. Without the 3 field goals, y'all would lose the game.
Well, and here's the other thing. Like, up until Tyler Boyd's touchdown, Evan McPherson was the reason we were winning that game. Like, you know, like I didn't mention it earlier, but that sequence of events that happened like right before halftime was a big part of the reason why we were in control of that game. Because the Bengals defense was not doing a great job of stopping the Broncos offense initially on the Broncos' last drive before the half. And they did stop them enough to the point where Brandon McManus set up for a 51-yard field goal, and he missed the kick, Thomas. Now, he didn't miss it because he didn't get enough leg on it. He definitely kicked it hard enough, but it just went. It shanked. It went way right.
Shanked it.
So and because Vic Fangio didn't manage the clock very well, it gave the Bengals just enough time for Joe Burrow to go to engineer a really quick 20-something yards. And I think this was Tyler Boyd too, who caught the pass, and set Evan McPherson up for that 58-yard field goal that was kicked right before the half. And instead of the Bengals going down 6-3 at halftime, now suddenly they're up 6-3 at halftime. And Evan McPherson basically, was the reason the Bengals, up until Tyler Boyd happened, Evan McPherson was the reason that the Bengals were in control of that game, because the offense was, struggling with that really good Broncos defense, with that top-tier Broncos defense. The Bengals offense was struggling with them. And, they got a little bit more going in the second half, but in the first half, they were not. And if it hadn't been for Evan McPherson, I don't know if we would have won that game, because I think that I don't think that they would have been able to keep up with the Broncos early on. Well, so I agree. I don't know how underrated he is, because he's got his own fan club. People are making T-shirts about him. There's people who are legitimately wearing his jersey, like the Kickers jersey. People Bengals fans legitimately are buying this man's jersey, and I mean he's got his own set of nicknames, and he's even had his own input in which nickname he likes the best. I'm like, this guy is being treated like a fucking god in Cincinnati, so he's definitely not underrated, but he is a kicker, so I can kind of see what you're going for there.
Well, he's underrated anywhere else besides Cincinnati. Go to freaking Dallas and talk to the biggest football fan in Dallas. Like, hey, what Evan McPherson is? He might know who he is, because Cincinnati fans.
That's fair. He's definitely underrated across the league. That's for sure.
Yeah, you go Joe Burrow is. Like, yeah, I know Joe, but Evan McPherson. What about that guy? Like, nah. Even if you're the biggest football fan, he probably know Jesse Bates.
Right.
Hickerson.
Well, Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow.
I mean, he might know it, because there are a lot of football nerds who just know kickers for fantasy. So but that's just NFL stuff. I know Roddy Gould. Who the hell is that guy?
Well, yeah, but he used to play for the Browns, right?
Robbie Gould, no.
Who am I? I'm thinking of Phil Dawson.
Philip Dawson, yeah. But who the fuck? Really? Who knows these guys?
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so my underrated player of the week this week for the Bengals is going to be Jackson Carman. I'm just going to call him an offensive lineman, because I don't know what he's doing. According to Pro Football Focus, he took 33 snaps at tackle this week, which is the position he played in college. So I mean, there's some theory that he played. That he should be able to play pretty well in that. Riley Reif, our big free agent signing on offensive line, he's out for the year. So we need to find somebody to come in and do some good there. And Jackson Carman had a really good game. And I cannot figure out for the fucking life of me why the guy we picked in the second round and made all this fuss about, why he hasn't been starting, despite the fact that he's had one bad game, Thomas. He had a bad game against Jacksonville. And other than that, Jackson Carman has had fine results, and actually a lot of good results this year when he's been playing. So I don't understand why the Bengals coaching staff has this vendetta against him, and why he isn't playing. I'm sure there's something deeper going on there that I don't know about, and I'm not saying they should necessarily listen to me because I don't know the whole situation, but I am saying Jackson Carman's doing so well when he's actually on the field, or at least a lot better than you'd expect. So how the fuck is he not playing? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, and that's why That's why he's underrated, is because his own team is underrating him, and I don't understand. He had an 85.2 pass blocking, or not pass blocking, overall blocking grade this week, Thomas. I know that was pass blocking. He had an 85.2 pass blocking grade this week. Nobody else on the Bengals did that well. He was the best on the field at blocking for the pass. And you want to talk about, like, something that Bengals fans are really paying attention to. It's blocking the pass. And Jackson Carman's doing a damn good job of it. So why the fuck is he not playing?
I can't answer that for you.
I don't understand. I think it's stupid. And I think the coaches need to go back and revisit that, because I think that's one of the biggest issues. I mean, they're like, as much as I've talked about like the offensive line being improved, there are still pretty clear issues with the offensive line. Being improved from last year isn't really saying much, because last year was awful. But I really feel like if you had Jackson Carman in more, then this wouldn't be as much of a fucking issue. I don't know. Maybe, like I said, maybe they know something I don't know, but it just seems ridiculous to me. So, all right, so we got Evan McPherson, we got Jackson Carman, our underrated players of the week for the Bengals. For the Browns, I'm going to give the underrated player of the week award to Nick Mullins.
Okay.
Because
bet.
I'm not gonna lie. Before the game, Thomas, like you were talking up Nick Mullins, and you're like, he's gonna have a big game. And I was like, dude, Nick Mullins sucks. What are you talking about? So Nick Mullins comes out, and he doesn't have like, big gigantic stats or anything like that. But he does enough to keep the Browns offense going and stay behind that Nick Chubb rushing attack. So yeah. I mean, the fact of the matter is he came in, and I feel like Nick Mullins played just as well as Case Keenum would have played.
Yep. Yep, exactly. Yep.
Right. So I mean, at the end of the day, the Browns got to feel pretty good in the fact that they have Baker Mayfield, but then behind Baker Mayfield, they have the best backup quarterback in the NFL in Case Keenum, and then they have the best practice squad quarterback in the NFL apparently in Nick Mullins. So it's just like, if something happens to Baker Mayfield, which is quite possible because he's got that shoulder injury, and a lot of people have been like calling for him to just, not be the quarterback anymore and stuff like that. And like, regardless of what happens to Baker Mayfield, the Browns can potentially survive at the quarterback position. So Browns if the Browns do get into the playoffs, then having those really, serviceable backup quarterbacks really could give you a chance to, maybe make a run in the playoffs. I don't know about Super Bowl, but, like, Bengals almost won a playoff game with A.J. McCarron. And they would have if Vontaze Burfict hadn't just, like, completely gone off the rails and Jeremy Hill hadn't fumbled and et cetera, et cetera. But A.J. McCarron would have won us that game. And, I'm just saying, Case Keenum can be your A.J. McCarron, and Nick Mullins could also potentially be your A.J. McCarron. So, shout out to you, Nick Mullins. I thought you did, again, it wasn't like an all-time great day, but the Browns are a running team. They don't necessarily need the quarterback to be the greatest of all time, and Nick Mullins did enough, I feel, to get the Browns the win. It was,
he managed the game well.
It didn't end up happening, but...
Yeah.
So who do you got?
The player I would go with is Dearness Johnson. Just for one play. Just for that one play he had. And I was going to go Harrison Bryant because he was one touchdown catch. But you got to give it to Dearness Johnson because that touchdown would have even happened if it wasn't for Dearness Johnson. Elusiveness, forcing the coaches to go for it instead of selling for a field goal. His ability to scramble around and get close to the end zone, like he almost got a touchdown himself. And that was just such a big play after that Nick Chubb penalty. And he just kept on fighting for those extra yards. So shout out to Dearness Johnson. Really appreciate his work ethic and his ability to just fight hard. Now he didn't do a good job on the rushing part. He only had one rush for -2 yards. So, it is what it is. But obviously you like Kareem Hunt and our rushing better that. But you didn't have an offensive line. So I'm going with Dearness Johnson this week.
Right on. All right, so Dearness Johnson and Nick Mullins are our picks for the Browns. So let's go ahead and move on to this fantasy league, Thomas.
All right, awesome.
So let's see, what do we got here? We got where are you, Thomas?
I don't know. I'm way off the map.
Where's your team? Yeah. Thomas's team. I don't even see you in the Week 15 matchups. What the hell? I mean, I know you didn't make the playoffs, but like I don't see you in the consolation bracket either. I don't know. Maybe they deleted your team. Not that it matters. You didn't make the playoffs, so I guess it doesn't really matter that much anyway. But it's
my team got Thanos. My team got Thanos.
Something like that. I don't see your team at all. Like Ian Plank, Christopher Deaton, Jan Romero, Debbie Morgan, Cameron Matthew, and then the bot. So I don't know what happened to your team, Thomas. You just it died. It died.
You got Thanos.
Okay. But anyway, so as far as the playoffs aspect of the Battle of Ohio podcast, Fantasy League goes, as I said before, me and Jordan Heiser had the bye weeks this week, and it's actually kind of a waste. It appears that my team's actually going to end up with the highest scoring total of anybody this week, despite the fact that I had a bye week. It was actually a really down week for fantasy football. The only teams that did well this week in fantasy football are Christopher Deaton and Cameron Matthew, and they both missed the playoffs. So, rip. But anyway, it looks like John Dorsey is going to beat Nick Boley because Nick Boley did not set his lineup. And so he still got Jarvis Landry, who didn't play, and he's still got TJ Hawkinson, who's on IR. So I think Nick just got, Nick's job's real hard. So I'm not surprised that he was not able to get to setting his lineup this week, but that's unfortunate for him. But John Dorsey's going to win that game, kind of by default, but it is what it is. And then so in the other game that we have, it's actually still too close to tell. I don't know who's going to win. Right now, the projected winner is DJ McNutt, but Michael Dorsey is the one who's currently winning, so we're going to have to see what's going to happen. But part of that is because DJ McNutt still has Russell Wilson, Terry McLaurin, and Devontae Smith, all that still need to play their games, which will happen at 7 p.m. tonight. Michael Dorsey has Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia defense. So you don't really quite know what's going to happen with all of that, but I think ultimately it's just really going to come down to if I had to bet, I think probably DJ McNutt's going to win because Jalen Hurts, if he has a big game, he's probably going to be throwing a bunch of passes to Devontae Smith. So it kind of cancels out. Like no matter how well Jalen Hurts does, some of that is going to going to be a benefit for DJ McNutt. So it's probably going to end up being DJ McNutt and John Dorsey who are going to go ahead in the playoffs this week. And so you're going to have, so that means I'm probably going to go up against John Dorsey next week. And DJ McNutt is going to go up against Jordan Heiser next week. So it is going to be interesting to see exactly what happens there.
Well,
good stuff.
What happened to Austin Church? Where he at?
Oh, he didn't make the playoffs. I thought he was going to, but I think he just barely missed, like due to what do you call it?
Due to lack of
points,
lack of hydration.
Like, no, lack of hydration. Oh my god. He got a bye week on the consolation bracket, so he didn't. His team would have done pretty well this week, but he got a bye week. So I'm actually really confused. What the hell happened to your team, Thomas? Thomas. Okay, so I guess from what I can tell here, it appears that because it's a 14-team league, the final two teams, like the bottom two teams in the league, didn't make the playoffs or the consolation bracket. So both you and Brad McGee just didn't even get to make the consolation bracket. That's how bad you guys did.
That sucks because how are you going to say that we're not going to make the consolation bracket when you got teams having buys in the consolation bracket? Like come on, NFL.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's Yahoo, not the NFL. But.
Well, look, I
do agree though. Why we got bye weeks going on in the consolation bracket? Does anybody really care about the consolation bracket? Does anybody like when whoever wins the consolation bracket, they're going to be coming on the podcast and being like, "I got third place."
Yeah, man.
No, nobody's going to do that.
The best loser, bro. The best losers.
Well, that is what that would be. They'd be the best of the losers. So. But yeah, you and Brad McGee, which I'm actually surprised because, like I said, Brad McGee got out to a really good start and then he just completely fell off. I think he might have stopped paying attention. But yeah, you and Brad McGee just don't even get to. You guys did so bad you don't even get to compete. That's your punishment.
That's fine. It's fine. I got enough stress from other fantasy leagues. It's fine. And I got knocked out of that one too. So like, nah, I'm just. Wow. It was a bad week for me in football. It was a bad football week. Like I had such a good football week. Like Saturday was going to be such a good day. And I seen Spider-Man fine. Spider-Man phenomenal. Go see it, y'all. No spoilers. But I just wanted to go to a football game on Saturday. I had it all planned out. The game was at 4:00. You go to the game and then you party afterwards. It was going to be a good day. And then people had to go out and get COVID. I'm not going to. I'm into that joke right there because like that is getting bad. But be healthy, stay healthy, y'all. But I just really wish the game. I just really wish the game just played on Saturday. At this point, we lost anyway.
Right. That's fair.
We lost anyway.
All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the state of the AFC North. And let's talk about these other AFC North teams. So I want to start with the Steelers, who, like, I don't know how on earth they just are still alive, but they are. They're still alive somehow. And they upset the Tennessee Titans, but mostly because the Tennessee Titans are basically a joke and a husk of what they used to be at this point. Without Derrick Henry, the Tennessee Titans are nothing. And they can't stop turning the damn ball over. I don't understand. Like, yeah, okay. Credit, gotta give credit where credit's due. The Steelers won, and they won because they took advantage of the opportunities that were given to them. You get there is something to be said about that. I'm not going to talk too much trash about the way they won because at the end of the day, they won because another team was like, here, I don't want this game, and the Steelers, every time somebody's like, here, I don't want this game, the Steelers are like, yes, thank you, I'll go take it. But I mean, here's the thing, dude. Like, that offense was just a nightmare. That Steelers offense, and it's been a nightmare all year. So it's just like, I seriously doubt they get into the playoffs. Although it is still possible. They're still hanging right around into it. But I seriously doubt they get into the playoffs. But even if they do, like, are they going to do anything when they get there? Kind of reminds me of, like, it kind of reminds me of, like, every year there's, like, some terrible team that manages to sneak its way into the playoffs. And when they get there, they get slaughtered. Yeah, so
I don't think the Steelers are going to be able to sneak their way in the playoffs. I don't know. Maybe not. But, oh, we got to beat the Packers.
Yeah, that's that I don't know if that's entirely feasible, but I wouldn't worry about it too much, Thomas, because like
I'm worried about it.
The Bengals and Steelers. The Bengals and Steelers. I think my headphones just died, so the audio quality might get a little not as good here now. But the Bengals and Steelers. Let me see if I can actually.
The Bengals and Steelers.
Okay, it's coming through my speaker now. So the Bengals and Steelers both still need to play the Chiefs, which is, I definitely don't see the Steelers beating the Chiefs, and the Bengals. I think we can beat anybody, but it just depends on if we're going to turn the damn ball over a billion times or not. We'll see. We beat the Broncos, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to go beat the Chiefs. But then again, we could go beat the Chiefs. I don't know. If we beat the Chiefs, then yeah, Thomas, y'all are going to need to beat the Packers. But
man, we could. All we had to do is beat the Ravens.
So if we beat the Ravens, and we're probably not going to beat the Chiefs. So I mean, if those two things happen, y'all don't need to beat the Packers. Like, I mean, y'all can still beat the Packers, and if you beat us in Week 18, you'll be fine.
A lot of people.
You'll also need to beat the Steelers, but
a lot of people on Twitter.
The Packers, you can probably afford to lose to the Packers. Believe it or not.
A lot of people on Twitter have been talking about that. By the way, that the Browns can still make the playoffs, even though because of how tough because the Browns actually have the easiest schedule out of all the AFC North teams, and that's fine. The fact of the matter is, and I am the most optimistic Browns fan here. You got to beat the Packers, man. You got to beat the Packers, man. You got to win that game, dude. And man, I don't know how they're gonna win it. I sold my ticket that game, so I'm kind of happy. I sold my ticket that game because I'm going to New York the week after Christmas, and I just cannot imagine doing 2 long drives like that in a row. Like that drive to Wisconsin just does not seem it at all. 8 hours, just corn, more corn. And then like what cities do you pass? You don't want to pass Chicago, do you? Like you go around Chicago. It's just not worth the drive. Michigan, I got drafted.
Don't go through Chicago.
No, maybe I will go to Chicago. Do I go to Chicago? Yeah, I will go to Chicago because I'll take the turnpike. It would still be a horrible drive. Corn, Michigan, corn, Illinois, corn, Indiana, corn, Ohio, corn. It's a very corny drive, Kyle. It's a very corny drive. Not worth my time.
Well,
you suck, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the Steelers still suck. You got to give them credit for getting the win against the playoff team. But here's the other thing. I don't know if the Titans even really qualify as like a playoff caliber team anymore. Once Derrick Henry went down, they had no identity left, and they've been playing like it, honestly. Like, they've won a few games, but for the most part, they've been losing and showing that they just can't really get anything done without Derrick Henry.
It's true. They have been.
Like, they were the number one team in my power rankings for a minute there, before Derrick Henry went down, because, they just looked unstoppable with him. But without him, they're kind of screwed.
Honestly, the AFC is wide open. Like, just make it in the playoffs, man. The AFC is wide open. Man, we might be able to beat the Packers. I want to talk myself into it by Thursday. Watch.
I think you guys definitely can beat the Packers. Like, the Packers aren't like unbeatable. But
you got to also realize a lot of those players who got COVID had injuries and they get a lot of rest.
Yeah, but they also have COVID, so they got to deal with COVID.
Hey, man, Baker Mayfield's chilling around drinking wine with his wife. He ain't. I don't want to talk about COVID too much on this podcast, but he'll be fine. Dude will be fine. Dude's chilling there drinking wine. He's vaccinated. Baker's gonna be fine. Like, Jarvis is gonna be fine too. He's playing video games, so take your 10 days off, get that ice wrapped up and shit. Get ready for Saturday. All right, they'll be fine.
All right, so the Ravens. The Ravens are an interesting case study, man. Like,
Ravens is going to be interesting if this Ravens collapse.
Well, right, but this is 2 weeks in a row now that they've gotten out to these like insanely slow starts, and then came back to almost win the game, only to lose because John Harbaugh decided he wanted to go for 2 again. That's my point. 2 weeks in a row that he's made that decision, and if he hadn't made that decision, there's a pretty good chance that they'd win. Although then again, maybe not. I get you're not really confident in your defense, especially going up against Aaron Rodgers. Now going up against an injured Baker Mayfield, I don't know why you made that decision then. But going up against Aaron Rodgers, maybe I kind of get the decision a little bit more this time. Although, considering you did it last week and you lost because of it, that's the balls it took on that man to make that decision is just like, wow. wow. As much as it didn't work out, and that sucks for your team and your professional career and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You gain my fucking respect for just making that decision. Like, holy shit.
Huntley looked good though. I'll tell you that for sure.
Huntley looked pretty good.
Yeah, Huntley looked really good actually.
Although he didn't at first. He didn't look great in the beginning.
Yeah, Huntley's pretty damn good. I want to see I want to see what happens with him when he leaves the Ravens. But Lamar,
he could have a pretty decent journeyman career, kind of like Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, something similar to that. You never know. But I think he probably had the same type of career that Lamar has. All he is just Lamar. So for Lamar, it's just like controversial, and people just like him. I mean, honestly, I think Lamar's gonna get. I think Lamar has been playing well all season. He's been picking. He's been throwing picks everywhere. And now he plays against the Bengals. Who's playing home that game? You guys playing home or the Ravens playing home?
Yeah, we are at home. I had the opportunity to go to that
you told me about
game,
ticket. Yeah, you
but
told
I'm
me about
going on
ticket.
vacation, so.
Hey, yeah, man. Look, if your father wanted me to go to the game with him, I'll be in Cincinnati.
Well, I'll ask him. He might have already sold the ticket, but I'll ask him if he.
Because if he had time to sell a ticket at a convenient time, because people think, hey, if I want to buy a football ticket on Sunday, I can buy a football ticket on Sunday, not 5 o'clock on a Monday. Hate you, NFL. Still pissed off about that.
Well, also, I told him like a month ago that I couldn't go to this game, so he's had like a month to sell it.
Well, if you don't want to sell, if he didn't sell his ticket, let me know. I'll buy the ticket off him. Sit next to him. I cheer for the Bengals. I'll happily cheer for the Bengals next week.
I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
I'm a fun time at games too. You never said to me that to me at a football game. I'm a lot of fun at a football game. I'm a lot of fun at a football game. Anyway, but I don't think Lamar Jackson's come back from the injury. He should be back this week, right?
I would imagine so. You know who's not going to be back is Logan Wilson. Like, despite the fact that like we specifically didn't put him on IR because we were thinking that he might be able to come back for the Ravens game. Well, now he's not back. This is the third week in a row that he's not back. So why the fuck did we not put him on IR?
I don't know. You gotta ask management that. But all right. So Lamar Jackson, right? So, he has 17 touchdowns to 16 turnovers, if my memory serves me correct. And now he's in a stretch where he had the toughest schedule in NFL left, right? If I'm not mistaken. He's got to play the Rams, the Bengals, and he got to play the Steelers. And one of the toughest schedules left in the NFL. I don't think he's going to beat the Bengals. I definitely don't think he's going to beat the Rams. Like I said before, I think that the Ravens are going to lose out for the rest of the season. You said you think they might beat the Steelers, maybe, but I just don't I don't believe in this Ravens team at all. I don't see anything that makes me believe that Lamar Jackson is the quarterback there. Now I can hear the ESPN people are clamoring Lamar Jackson because he can make sidearm throws and he's very athletic and elusive. But the reality is he can't throw the ball when it's time to throw the ball. He throws medicine balls up in the air to Mark Andrews, and people are starting to pick those medicine balls off. Now he has 17 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. He doesn't have a high quarterback completion rating. His stats aren't good at all, but we're just ignoring them. And you could ignore them all.
He won an MVP.
Well, you can say that. You can ignore those stats all you want. I mean, Russell Westbrook won MVP, and LeBron trying to ship him out of town. So the whole thing is that
Russell Westbrook won MVP a long time ago.
Like 2018, around the same time Lamar Jackson won it.
Oh, well, okay. Shut up. Russell Westbrook's also old too, by
Yeah,
anyway,
he's older. He's older. Yeah, he is older. He's an older player. Yeah, you're right.
So, to answer your question from earlier, Ravens do anticipate Lamar Jackson's going to start Sunday against the Bengals.
Got you.
Hey, by the way, my dad said that the tickets are listed but not sold. Do you know? Do you want them?
Oh, damn! Life is coming at me fast. Ooh. But then I gotta drive all the way down to Cincinnati. Tell him, ooh. How much are they selling for? Tell him maybe. Tell him hold that thought. Let me think. I'm not in the proper set. I'm not in the proper mindset to plan this. I'm still trying to plan off my week because I'm getting like a lot of days off work. So I'm trying to plan out my week. Trying to plan out my New Year's, y'all. Going to New York City for New Year's Eve. All right, so anyway, Lamar Jackson doesn't scare me against the Bengals. I think Joe Beasy is going to beat Lamar Jackson for the second time in a row this year and sweep the Ravens and stay on top of the division. That is me. Joe Beasy. That's what I'm gonna start calling him on the show. Joe Beasy. What up, Joe Beasy?
So I may have it slightly wrong. I think my dad's not going to that game either. So I think he might be selling both tickets. So
okay, I know. I'm not.
Things where you have to buy both or none.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to buy 2 tickets again. I'm not doing that again.
Right.
I just had 2 tickets that I couldn't sell. I literally couldn't give away my ticket. I literally couldn't give away my ticket. You know, like everyone, oh yeah, Browns fans, oh they can't support their team. Like, all right, yeah, fine, okay, all right, yeah. You just leave work casually at 5 o'clock or before. You usually leave work early so you can be at a football game. See how that works. Some people probably did it too. Some people probably did it. I guarantee you, people probably did it too. And it was still like the stadium. I mean, the stadium was still pretty full. It wasn't like it's still probably the stadium probably 80-90% full, but like there was a lot of empty seats.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I think that's probably going to do it for this episode, Thomas. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. You can always find more of what I do at Kyle Phelps 92 on Twitter, facebook.com/the Phelps. My Bengals coverage is atbnetwork.com/Cincinnati Bengals. And my YouTube channel, which is just Kyle Phelps. You can find Thomas at T_star94 on Twitter and Instagram. And go check him out as the Thomas J Network on YouTube and TikTok. Putting out a lot of good content there. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's probably going to do it for today, guys. So don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy the content. And with that, I'll leave y'all with a Who Dey.
Go Browns and you suck Lamar.